Welcome back, Blade fans, and thanks for joining me. This old sword is with you once again. And we have a new Kansept knife today. This is an interesting design by Nalu, N-A-L-U. And let me tell you a little bit about the designer real quick from the Kansept website. Nalu Boersma. It has been rapidly building a fan base in a few short years as a maker to watch for a good reason. Building them one at a time manually, he produces a knife that has an old world feel and new world materials. His unique aesthetic blends with our design concept perfectly, and his attention to detail makes the knife a joy to deploy and use. And about this design, the Kansept Entity is a sturdy flipper knife made for everyday carry. It can be opened with its smooth bearing pivot via the flipper tab. The blade is a force to be reckoned with, wicked sharp steel, and an attractive wide blade. Titanium carbonitride handle has a good adhesion, toughness, and resistance to chipping, making it the perfect EDC. And that's the coating on the titanium. Let's take a look at this puppy. It is light. It is a medium large size at around 3.5 inches. It has these unique holes that I've only seen on Bestech prior, on the Todd Knife and Tool designs, where they polish the countersink there into those holes. And so we've got two diamonds of 9 holes each. Double nines, maybe that means something to you. It is a very dull bead blast finish, almost a little chalky feeling. Not necessarily a feeling I like, but I'm willing to put up with it since it's a really nice design. It's got a deep carry clip. They did use, unfortunately, the button head screws rather than the flathead or countersunk screws, and it's riding on a non-transferable platform there on the right side of the knife. So right side only tip up carry. There is a single cutout for the lock bar relief, and it does have the hardened steel insert. Got a nice brass looking pivot surround, and there is Nalu's signature. This is from S35VN, so good solid blade steel. There's the name of the knife, Entity. And there is the steel with the model number and Kansept's logo. It's a clip point, so it's definitely an abrupt, not abrupt, medium length clip point. Aligning that tip with the axis, the center line of the handle, very nicely. 2-finger grooves, really kind of a groove and a swale there for 2 fingers, 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Easily fit on it with my medium large hand, and some nice jimping there. And as it stands now, right out of the box the other day, it fires beautifully well, but is not necessarily drop shut and can be failed. So it's a little on the tight side. I haven't bothered messing with the pivot screws. Seems like more and more these days we're seeing double pivot screws, T8s, which is interesting, instead of just a single and with a backstop, so to speak. All right, well, I'm not going to linger on that too long, but let's fire it a few times. With a moderate amount of pressure on the flipper tab and a light switch, it fires really well. Nice solid clack there. And you can drop it with a single shake. Clip is steel on this guy. Titanium. And that's interesting. Looks like titanium screws, if I can isolate them. Now there's a little bit of draw there, so I'm going to call those steel screws. Definitely a steel clip and a titanium handle. So this knife was coming in a little under 200 on the White Mountain site, and we'll get to all of the specifics with the links that I put in the description. Let's back out a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to do a overall length, and it works out to just shy of 8¼ call it like an 8.1 overall. Got a blade length of exactly 3.5 inches to the peak of the handle, and 3.5 inch or slightly more cutting edge. Millimeters. Not a heavy blade stock, but heavier than I thought. 3.4 millimeters, which works out to be 0.13, and handle's pretty thin, 0.49 inches. And weight on this puppy is 4.72 ounces. Pretty nice. As I said, feels light. Certainly there are lighter knives. I don't believe we're going to see any weight relieving on the inside, but let's take a look. Yeah, there's some pockets there in the back. Look at that. Yep. And on the lock bar side. So yeah, including a little bit you're gaining from those holes that are drilled through. They're only on one side. Otherwise they'd go through and you have to mess with the lock bar. So you may or may not like that perforation look. There's some places I like it, some places I don't. I'm kind of neutral about it on this design. There is about 4 different models of this. This is a stone-washed black finish on the S35VN, and as I say, it's kind of a gray coat, titanium nitride they're saying, on the handle that has been bead blasted. So it's a very dull look. It definitely isn't slippery. You got some pretty good traction on that, but it's not textured or anything like that. And the clip is a thinner spring steel clip, which they did manage to match with the handle. And it's too bad that it won't transfer, so you lefties are out of luck. How about taking a look at it next to another Kansept knife, the front flipping bulldozer, also an S35VN. No, this isn't 20CV. Just about the same length. The bulldozer maybe edges it or noses it out just a little bit. And if we want to go on the large size, the Shikari by Kansept, a Morgan Cohen's design. And this is a big boy. Not too many knives, unless you go into the supersized knives, are going to be bigger than that. Even if we were to switch the perspective a bit, since I'm shooting from an angle. And if I line them up, oh, you got a good 1.25 inches longer overall. So this is a giant knife. This is 4-inch blade. Beautiful drop shut action, by the way. And if we were to compare it to Griptilian, about the same length, but taller for sure. And Rat 1 is going to be about 3/4 inch longer overall, something like that. So let's take a chance and see what kind of edge they put on it from the factory. There we go. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'd call it a very decent edge. Something to look at while I throw the paper out. Place becomes a mess of little paper fragments if I don't. Look at that. Pretty nice, high flat grind. So this has got the potential to be extremely slicey. I think just about any factory edge can be improved if you put it on like your Work Sharp, your KME, your TS Prof, your Wicked Edge, what have you, or you do it by hand. So that is the entity, a Nalu design from Kansept. I think it's really good, really decent, kind of mid-class, if you want to call it that, design. And I'm going to give you the price real quick and some options on White Mountain Knives before we wrap it up. So there's your price on White Mountain. Less 10% if you use my discount code OLDSWORD. So you get about $18.50 off of that, which isn't too bad. So, you know, they're talking $277 for a list price, but, you know, list prices being what they are, you're not always going to be paying list price. I think you're never going to be paying list price. And other models, entity, let's see what we got. So you have this one, which is, I believe, the one I have with the titanium handle. Well, that's a satin finish. So there's a satin finish one, which is not in stock currently. There is a Damascus version for the same money, pretty much, maybe actually a few dollars less. There is the one I'm showing you now, which is called the silicon carbided titanium handle S35VN, black plain. And here is yet another. And then they changed the blade shape. They got a few models where it's still the entity, but they give you that little scoop, making it almost kind of a harpoon. Anyway, you can check them out. There's probably 6-7 designs easily. And that is the entity, as I was saying. Don't forget to give this video a like, please, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm just a nudge under, I think, one person under 1,400. No, I've passed that mark. 4,000. So, who knows? Maybe we will do a giveaway if I don't wait till 5,000. Catch you soon. This old sword, signing out.